Hello, Stampin' Buddies. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting, coming to you as Late Night Lori. It is Monday, February 17th, a little before midnight. So we'll see if I get this done before midnight. It might end up being the 17th or the 18th, I mean. So I'm kind of like just winging it here. I wanted to try out this beautiful butterflies dies and the stamp set. I only used the sentiment from the stamp set. It says time to celebrate. I have that on my block ready to go. And I kind of created part of a card to play with the die. I'll show you how I did that and kind of how I might finish it, I guess. Because when I did this is almost just like a kind of a postcard, and I wasn't sure if that's really what I wanted because it's kind of hard to display that way. So I came up with an idea. I think I'll save this hybrid embossing folder for another day. And I'll use this other piece that I had cut out and set some of these things out of the way because I want to get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine up here. But I wanted to show you I used the Floral Delight Designer Series paper and the Floral and Gingham Vellum. Those are both from the mini catalog. So now that I've shown you those, I can kind of get them out of the way. And I am going to get my Bossy Bessie up here and cut a couple of things. So this is the die that if you have it lined up on your cardstock, it will create this flip. Okay, so I did it twice because I did it with designer series paper and I glued it on there with the all-purpose glue. But I also wanted to have something under here, obviously, to write on. So I cut it on my white cardstock. Let's see if we can get this off of here so I can use this washi tape one more time. We'll try. So what I did was I just ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'll get rid of those. And then what I thought I would do is trim these apart. So I guess I could have waited to bring Bossy Bessie up here. But what I'm going to do is trim these edges just a little bit so they look a little more natural. We'll see if it works. So today I was kind of catching up on things. We had some errands to run. And I had some issues with my chickens. So it's pretty cold here. It was only about 0. And one of my chickens got her backside a little frozen. So I had to thaw her out. So that was something new I haven't had before. So this will go here. What I'll do is put some all-purpose glue. I'm going to move that out of the way for just a second so that I don't have too many pieces hanging around here. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to add some of the all-purpose glue. And I'm just doing a real light layer because a little goes a long way. And I'm going to make sure I put a little bit on the tips of those antennae. So then what I'll do is I'll just have that laid there, and if I close this, it should be pretty good. But with Late Night Laura, you just never quite know. It might line up, it might not line up. But this way I can write or put another sentiment in here, and you don't even really see that until you open it up, and then you've got your butterfly. So that is kind of this initial prototype playing with the dies. I'm not sure that, I mean, it's pretty enough, but I'm not sure that that's something that I would want to mass produce. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you the other thing I decided to do. So if you take a whole piece of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, score it at your 4 1/4, score it at your 5.5, slice and slice so that you've got 3/4 of your page of your cardstock. When you fold this in and fold this over, then you're going to have more of a fun fold card that I kind of more envisioned. All right. So in order to get this to work, we're going to have to get this out of the way and put our butterfly on just the single layer and put it through our machine. And there's these lines in here. Hopefully you can see that. That's where you're going to line up with your fold line, okay? So let me get a couple of these things out of the way. Hopefully it'll turn out, because we're just kind of winging it. But, you know, that's kind of what I seem to do, is just wing it sometimes. All right, so I need my base plate, my shim, a cutting plate, the one that I put on the bottom, and then I'm going to put this in. Now remember, I had mentioned if you're using a die that has a flat edge, you want to put it in an angle. All right, this is a flat edge, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it like feet first. So it's got the curvy end. That way it doesn't have to grip quite as much when it goes through the rollers. So I'm going to move this plate back just a little bit so that they're offset. And let's run this through, because then it runs through much smoother than other times. And then this we can take off for just a second. We're going to use it again, and you'll see how in a minute. All right, so we'll take out that little body piece. And then what we will do is, to make our butterfly flip over on the top, we're going to cut off this part. We're just going to snip it off. All right. So we're going to do a little snip and a little snip. And now we've got more of a fun fold that I envisioned. Now, since we've got the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I'm going to do just a couple of other quick things. So I want, what do I want? I want a body part, and I'm going to do that with a piece of this Designer Series paper. So this piece on the back looks like this. And on this little butterfly, I used just Old Olive cardstock, but I think I want to try it with the Designer Series paper instead, because I think it'll be a little more cute. So let's put this in. And it doesn't have to be lined up any certain way, because there's no design to it really. So let's just start popping this through, and you will see I'm going to have to trim the body. All right, because I want just the body, so I have to trim off these other pieces. All right, so we're just going to freehand up there. And I suppose I could straighten that out a little bit more. And maybe I'll leave the antenna on this one. This one I cut the antenna off of there, but I think it would actually look better if I left them on there. So I'm going to leave those on this one. So let's get rid of some of this debris, just not the body part that I just cut out. And then we are going to get this out of the way, I think, because we're going to cut a little butterfly out of the vellum. And that is with one of the other dies from the set. And this can just randomly go on here. And we can cut that little girl out. And we'll just tear those off, and then we have the extra pieces that we can work with. And I think there's just one more thing I need to do with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with my Bossy Bessie here. But that, I need my other plate, because we are going to use this mini corrugated, I think it's in here. What did I do with it? Yeah, I've got it here. That mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. And that's what I'm going to use for the body. So, I also had mentioned that I had this corrugated dynamic. This is an older one that's retired. So for those of you who might have this old one, there is quite a difference. So I would say it's, I don't know, maybe almost half as tight of a design. But this is the old one. Sometime maybe I'll just run those through and you can kind of see the difference. All right, so let's put this in here. And I'm going to leave the antenna hanging out of the end because I don't think I want those crimped. So I'm going to put my fold in here first. So I only need my platform, my embossing folder with the DSP, and then my 4-plate, which is just for the 3D embossing folders. And look at that, that's kind of cute. Except that it went all the way through my little butterfly body. So I think if I glue those together, it'll be fine. What I could have done is probably just spritz that with a little water to soften up the paper a little bit first, and then it might not have done that. So I'll play with that again because it did not do that on my cardstock. It did it with the Designer Series paper, which is a little bit thinner, so I had not anticipated that. But I think it'll be all right. We'll figure it out. So we'll get some of these broken little pieces out of the butterfly for the wings. Now I do have a little pokey tool, but it's over by my other Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So we're just going to do this to clear out these little pieces. There's also an attachment for your Take Your Pick tool that has a brush on it. I have that as well. But then I would have to pull it out of the drawer and I would have to put it on my little tool there. So that seems like a little too much effort right now. Did I mention I'm still recovering from my service trip? I'm surprised I'm still awake. Although I did kind of doze off when my husband and I were running some errands before, so I guess I did kind of cheat. I did get a little bit of a nap. So let's see if we can get this out without tearing it because I did use vellum, so you do have to use a little bit of care when you're removing the vellum. Now a couple of these little pieces stayed in there, so I will want to get those out before I use this again because they can kind of diminish the sharpness of the cut next time. So if you get too many things in there, it doesn't cut through real nice. All right, so that's that. I'm going to put those on that magnet there. And let's take a look at this now. So here is my little fun fold piece. Here is this butterfly. Oh, I still need my top butterfly in whatever color I'm going to do. So we can do this. So this would go here. That would be glued. But I like it with the body being another design. Although you can see the vellum a little bit better this way. So that's going to go here. I think for right now, I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape here. To hold that body together. And I'll just use the tear and tape as if it's like Scotch tape. So if we put some on here. Then we can kind of put that together. Our sentiment's kind of going to go over that anyway. So I think that's going to actually just be fine. All right, so if we do like this, and a butterfly in this design, that might be cute. Or we could do the butterfly like this, with that on there, but I don't know that that would show as much. So let's see what we want to do. So here's another piece. I kind of like that one because it's got some blue hues. We're going to put this one in here. So these I cut down to just 1/16 inch smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right. So that would have been 4, oh, I don't even know. I'd have to look at my ruler to know what the real math is. So 4 1/4 less a 16th. Because I just wanted a narrow border on here, just so you could barely see the blue around there. And then let's do the butterfly for the inside. So I'm going to have to open this though. Otherwise I will be gluing it on the wrong part. Oops, that's all right. Okay. Let's line that up. Hopefully that'll be okay. Nope, it's not. So let's shift it a little bit. That looks kind of cool though. So it's off just a little bit from where I glued it, but I like it because it gives us a little outline. So that's where we can put another sentiment in there. And that's pretty close. So this butterfly is actually going to have some designs on it. We just have to decide what design we're going to do. So this piece I don't need. This piece I don't need. And I think we'll do the butterfly with this again. So I just need to cut another one of these. And I think this will be big enough. Not quite. This will be big enough for sure. So we're going to just move this up here. We'll bring out the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. I guess I wasn't quite done. But it's close, it's compact, it's easy. So base plate, shim, first cutting plate. Then we will put this in here, and again, I'm going to put it like the feet first so that I don't have this straight edge going through my rollers. And now I think we can be done with all of this. All right, let's take this off again. And let's use our little snips here to round off these corners to make it look like it belongs that way. All right. So if we put this on here, this will go here, this will go here. I like it leaving the antenna on the body. I think that's kind of pretty. I think that will be nice. Now, do we want to offset it a little bit so we can see the blue? Probably not. All right, so that'll all go there. And then we just need to do a sentiment. So this just says time to celebrate. And I love the font. It's kind of a modern, fun font. And I should have my Pearson mat under there, but it turned out fine. All right, and then we just need to trim this down. We'll use my old little mini trimmer here. This was a joining bonus item a few years back. I don't think I got that quite straight. And then we'll take a little bit off of this side. It's pretty good. Get rid of those pieces. So let's put this stuff all together. Yeah. Lost my glue for a second. See, that would be pretty too, wouldn't it? I think we might do that side. I think we're going to do that side. It'll have the kind of like the back side of the die, but I think it'll be all right. We'll glue it. No one will know, right? I'm trying to get this done quickly so everybody can go to bed. But sometimes when I hurry, things get messed up. Let's go like this. That's going to be quite pretty. And then this one, I could use some glue or I could use some glue dots. And I think I'm going to use glue dots. I'm just going to kind of roll it off of there. The vellum will tear if you're not careful. So we'll just roll them up like little burritos and put them on the butterfly body. So Paul listened to one of my videos earlier today, and I was just sitting there doing something else, and he started kind of chuckling. I said, "What are you laughing about?" He says, "Just you talking to yourself." And I'm thinking, well, I'm not really talking to myself. I'm talking to whoever is going to watch my video. Hopefully many will watch it. So here's where that little piece of tear and tape is. So I'm not going to bother to put glue on there because it'll come off anyway. But we'll put a little bit more glue kind of on here, on the top and the bottom, and those antennae. And, whoop, ooh, that was lucky. Very, very lucky. So we'll line this up. And because it's glue, we have a little bit of wiggle room to get it really where you want it. And these wings, in order to fit through or fit into an envelope, we're going to have to trim these down a little bit more because they're going over the edge of the card. So we'll round that out a little bit more. That'll be okay. All right, and then this will go here. Now what I did with this one is I trimmed off those corners just because I didn't like them on there. And I didn't want to find a die to make a fancy shape. So I decided just to eyeball it and hope it would turn out okay. And then this, we'll put one here and one here because that's about where they lined up the last time. So we're just gonna hope it lines up this time. And see where that line is where the body broke from just using designer series paper. It's covered up. It'll be fine. And then what we have to do is maybe dress up the body with some of these. These are a new item. Starburst sequins. I was able to get them as a pre-order. So if you like some of these pre-order things, you can always join my team and you can order the pre-order stuff when I do. Huh, what do you think? Let's get this stuff out of the way. We'll set these out. So this was my first one that turned out just kind of like a postcard. Oh, that's the other thing. No, we did. All right. So this one turned out kind of like a postcard. Maybe a little bit of Wink of Stella here. We'll dress up that body a little bit. Give it a little shimmer. Probably can't see that on the camera, but it's got a little bit of shimmer now. Because I already put those little starburst pieces there. So here's the first one. Just a simple like postcard flip up. And then this is a little bit more of a fun fold. All right. So I don't know if that's quite straight. I think that might be a little bit better. So this would flip up. You could put another butterfly here with some kind of sentiment. All right. And then when we open it up, we have this here. Now we could also, we could have dress this up a little bit. But now at this point, it's kind of a moot point unless I put another one of those in. But we could have put like a layer of designer series paper across here to dress it up. But I think what I'll do is I'll take some of these smaller butterflies and cut some of those out, and I'll dress it up with some more butterflies with that designer series paper on there. So let me know what you think. All right, simple fun fold using the die, or a little more substantial fun fold. All right, so I'll finish this one up with some of those other butterflies, and I'll add some pictures, not tonight, but tomorrow, and see what you think. So until next time, happy stamping.